Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm really glad you are here. If you are new, make sure to hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any updates. If you are enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and share. It truly helps the channel grow. Let's jump right in.
I have no idea. I mean, look, I did settle. Marco would tell you we settled 7 wars. We're close to settling an 8th. And I think we'll end up settling the Russia situation, which is horrible. 7,000 people died last week, by the way, in Russia, between Russia and Ukraine. I think we'll settle that. So I don't think anybody in history has settled that many, but perhaps they'll find a reason not to give it to me.
Russia and Ukraine, sir, you should be able to get the Nobel. I said, I stopped 7 wars.
So what they're trying to do with the Epstein hoax is get people to talk about that instead of speaking about the tremendous success like ending 7 wars. I ended 7 wars. Nobody's going to talk about because they're going to talk about the Epstein whatever. Thousands of young people, mostly young people, are dying every single week. If I can save that by doing sanctions or by just being me or by using a very strong tariff system that's very costly to Russia or Ukraine or whoever we have, but I stopped 7 wars, and 3 of those wars were going on for more than 30 years.
You mentioned your upcoming meeting with President Putin. Can
Yeah.
you tell us what you hope to get out of that and whether you'll consider inviting President Zelensky to join?
So you have to understand, this is a war that should have never happened. This is a war that wouldn't have happened if I were president. It would have never happened. It was the apple of his eye. I got along very well with President Putin.
Mr. President, you managed to get this deal done. A lot of people say that the men who managed to do that should get a Nobel Peace Prize. Do you think that you'll be able to get all the hostages back home? And what would happen if you hear from the Israelis?
They will never give me a Nobel Peace Prize.
What would happen if the Israeli
I deserve it, but they will never give it to me.
My rhetoric kept you out of wars. I stopped wars from happening
If it were somebody else, they would have gotten 5 Nobel Prizes. I never even got a mention, and I wouldn't, because I happen to be a different kind of a person, and the fake news treats me much differently than they treat other people. Obama got a Nobel Peace Prize, and he didn't even he said, "Why did I get it?" He had no idea. It was immediate as soon as he walked into office, practically. He didn't do anything. And by the way, on Wednesday, I believe of next week, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and as you know, the country, very powerful, very respected country with a great leader, UAE, is coming to the White House, and we're going to sign an agreement that hasn't been signed in many decades. It's peace and it's recognition of Israel and all of the things nobody thought it could be done. And you know, it's an amazing thing. I don't say this out of ego, but I was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize.
The Nobel Peace Prize for 2025 goes to a brave and committed champion of peace.
Will you get the Nobel Prize? Absolutely not. They'll give it to some guy that didn't do a damn thing. They'll give it to a guy that wrote a book about the mind of Donald Trump and what it took to solve the wars. And he'll get the Nobel Prize will go to a writer. No, but well, let's see what happens. But it's be a big insult to our country. I will tell you that. I don't want it. I want the country to get it.
He's forging peace as we speak, in one country, in one region after the other. So I want to present to you, Mr. President, the letter I sent to the Nobel Prize Committee. It's nominating you for the Peace Prize, which is well deserved, and you should get it.
Thank you very much. This I didn't know. Wow. Thank you very much.
The Norwegian Nobel Committee has decided to award the Nobel Peace Prize for 2025 to Maria Corina Machado.
A massive diplomatic upset and a personal blow for U.S. President Donald Trump. After months of lobbying, public appeals, and even symbolic gestures, the Nobel Peace Prize 2025 has gone elsewhere. The Norwegian Nobel Committee has awarded the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize to Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado for her tireless struggle to restore democracy in her country. Machado, dubbed Venezuela's Iron Lady, has long championed human rights and democratic freedoms, even as she remains in hiding following last year's disputed election under President Nicolas Maduro. The Nobel panel hailed her courage in pushing for a peaceful transition from dictatorship to democracy.
The Nobel Peace Prize for 2025 goes to a brave and committed champion of peace, to a woman who keeps the flame of democracy burning amidst a growing darkness. The Norwegian Nobel Committee has decided to award the Nobel Peace Prize for 2025 to Maria Corina Machado. She is receiving the Nobel Peace Prize for her tireless work promoting democratic rights for the people of Venezuela and for her struggle to achieve a just and peaceful transition from dictatorship to democracy. As the leader of the democratic forces in Venezuela, Maria Corina Machado is one of the most extraordinary examples of civilian courage in Latin America in recent times. Ms. Machado has been a key unifying figure in a political opposition that was once deeply divided. an opposition that found common ground in the demand for free election and representative government. This is precisely what lies at the heart of democracy, our shared willingness to defend the principles of popular rule, even though we disagree. At a time when democracy is under threat, it is more important than ever to defend this common ground.
Recently featured in Time's 100 Most Influential People of 2025, Machado's win cements her status as the global face of Venezuelan resistance. But the announcement may rattle U.S. President Donald Trump. The U.S. President, who openly declared it would be an insult if he didn't win the prize, is now left watching from the sidelines.
Will you get the Nobel Prize? Absolutely not. They'll give it to some guy that didn't do a damn thing. They'll give it to a guy that wrote a book about the mind of Donald Trump and what it took to solve the wars. And he'll get the Nobel Prize will go to a writer. No, but we'll see what happens. But it's be a big insult to our country. I will tell you that. I don't want it. I want the country to get it.
Trump has repeatedly claimed credit for resolving 8 wars and pushing peace deals across the globe. But this time, the Nobel spotlight has passed him by earlier this week. Even Israeli hostage families symbolically presented a mock Nobel medal featuring Trump's face, urging him to help end the Gaza conflict. However, despite all these backing, it's Maria Corina Machado, not Donald Trump, who takes center stage as the world's newest Nobel laureate. A moment marking the Venezuelan woman's courage and Trump's biggest international embarrassment yet.
Now ask yourself, is the Nobel Peace Prize really about ego and headlines? Trump claimed he stopped 7 wars, but look at the reality. Gaza is only quiet on paper. Ukraine is still burning, and experts around the world say it's just a short-term spectacle, not sustainable peace. Now look at Maria Corina Machado, a leader who risked imprisonment and hiding, yet stood tall for democracy and human rights. She raised her voice for her people, challenged a brutal dictatorship, and united a fragmented opposition. This is real courage, real peace. Here is the differences. Trump's peace is performative, photo ops, headlines, tweets. Machado peace is principle-based, risk-taking, and lasting. That's why the Nobel Committee chose her. Not ego, not headline, real change, real democracy. The lesson is clear. Peace does not come from ambition alone. It does not come from power or attention. Peace comes from those willing to take risks, stand on principles, and fight for the rights of people. So next time you will see our headlines about a peace claim, remember who is really making change, who is just performing for cameras, who is risking everything to give people a voice, and who is chasing fame and ego. Peace is not a game of ambition. It's about action, courage, and principle. Thank you.